there, thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Lines Forever. Today I have a 3v3 ladder match here on the most amazing Roxas map generator. Let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with blue team in the west, also known as team number 1, and then with red team in the east, also known as team number 2. Starting off with team 1's northern player, working our way southward, we have in amethyst purple Swadoslav. He is a Cybran, and he is an 1865 rated player. He is the highest rated player on team 1. To his south in royal blue is the Aeon player of Chicken Rayaba. He is an 1720 rated player, and again, he is in Aeon. And last but not least, for team 1 in Stitch Blue is the Seraphim commander of RNA. He is a 1850 rated player, and he is in Stitch Blue. So for team 1 side of the map, they have 1 Cyber, 1 Seraphim, and 1 Aeon. For team 1, they lack UEF technologies. Starting off with team 2 southern player, working away northward, we have in orange, the color orange, almost a 2000 rated player, Furkotoya. I'm going to call him F for short. I think I say his name right, possibly not. He is a Cyber, and again, he is in orange, the color orange. To his north in Chevy Crimson, we have the Seraphim player of Hannibal. He is a 1570 rated player. And last but not least, for team 2, as an 1869 rated, is Gore, we call him Gore for short. He is a Seraphim, and he is an 69 rated player. So for team 2 side of the map, they have 2 Seraphim and 1 Cybran. So not only do they lack Aeon technology, they also lack UEF technology. Apologies to those loyal to the old Earth Empire. You're not in this game, but hopefully you will enjoy it nonetheless. And for 6 players on the map, let's take a look at how much reclaim they have to scoop up. Currently sitting at 5,000 mass, so that's about 850 or so mass per player. Not really a ton of mass to scoop up. Mainly, most of that are in these wrecks. In the water over here, a couple of Cybran naval facilities. I think there's a UEF one. No, that's a Cybran one that's already been scooped up. So lots of old wrecks. I do like the fact that they have just kind of been turned like this. You can't actually build anything on top of them, so there's no chance of like having a Cybran come and just easily build a naval facility. Makes it very impossible to do that. And for mass points on the map, taking a look at team 2's side of the map, we'll take the entire eastern side and of course the western side for team 1. There is a 5-star mech position in the back, as well as another 5-star mech position and another one here in the middle of team 2's lineup. We do see that there is a Trimex position in the north, and with that, that's pretty much it. There's a couple of one-offs kind of dotted on the way there to the other side of the map, and some mexes on the shoreline over here. But realistically, there's not that many other mechs. It's very concentrated, so our players are going to be primarily focused on getting all of their upgrades up and running sooner rather than later to, again, be able to scale faster and stronger than their opponents. We do see that it looks like it's going to be a 1v1 engagement in the water. Team 2 is Hannibal in the water, currently going for a naval facility. And it looks like we have Chicken in the water. Oh, looks like he was about to do it, but it looks like it's going to be up here, outbound from Swadoslav. Looks like he is going to build that facility anyways. We do see that it's going to be a 1v1 in the south here between Team 2's F and Team 1's RNA. And in the north, we have Swadoslav versus Gore. On the northern side of things, there are some raiding units running around here for Gore, running after Gore's stuff from Swadoslav. And there are a couple of hovertech units outbound from Chicken, harassing some early mexes here for Team 2 on the other side of the pond. And obviously, the main feature of the map is this central pond. There are a couple of tiny little water spots on each of the edges of the map here, but primarily it's going to be a lot of action in the middle of the map here for Navy. And I will point out, it's an 1800 plus average ladder match. You hardly see these, and I'm glad that I've been able to bring it to you this day. We do see that, of course, Hannibal still dealing with a couple of those forces from Chicken. But there's going to be a lot of focus on getting the Navy up and running sooner rather than later. We can see that illustrated by Swadoslav getting just spam facilities online, just slowly, not getting a lot of facilities, just getting 1 so far. And he's going to space that out a little bit just so that his units can actually get out of the dockyard and not get just body blocked by the environment. And we do see that a gun upgrade has been started by F in the south. And I don't think we've seen any calm-on-calm action as of yet, but this is a ladder match. It takes a little bit longer to get to that stage of comms trading blows. Frigate does bypass the forces here for Hannibal, but he's dealt with that quite quickly here with a nice little sub inbound. We also see, again, Team 1's Chicken augmenting his naval forces with hover tech. It's not going to be as strong as actual naval units, but it does help get out an early harassment. Of course, it does deny the torpedo-capable units outbound from Team 2. We do see a couple of bombers trying to deal with these roaming units for Swadoslav. Still haven't been able to take out that one mech that's still alive. And it's barely alive, but it is still alive. It does look like Gore is retreating in the face of Swadoslav's forces. And it's just falling back a little bit just so that he doesn't overextend himself, just in case there is a snipe here shortly. We do see, of course, Swadoslav is getting some more forces online to assist his teammate in the water. And RNA down here in the south, exact same thing is kind of happening here, mirroring what's going on in the northeast, but favoring Team 2 ever so slightly. We do see that the Ilshis are now online, and one Ilshi will deal with those Mantas very nicely and be able to stop that harassment. So T2 is now starting to be the main stage element here for at least RNA, because he is Seraphim, so the Ilshis are a very powerful unit to have in his lineup. T2 air is online for Hannibal. T2 land online. I'm assuming T2 land is soon to be online. Yep, here for F here pretty shortly. We haven't seen a dedicated air player as of yet. Everybody on Team 1 has only gone for T3 land so far. And we do see that, of course, that is augmenting those naval forces once again with the hover tech from Chicken. These subs, of course, can fight back against the frigate, no issue. The Team 2 needs more forces online. Gore has his own facility over here, pumping out his... I'm assuming that's another frigate, but he probably would be benefited off getting some of those subs sooner rather than later. Why am I in the slot, not you? You have triple my mexes, says Gore. Was he talking about air, possibly? I mean, he is up here. I don't know realistically what he's getting at with that. Team 2's Hannibal still in the water, just kind of sitting on the little beachhead, getting more facilities online. And now we see F dipping his toes into the water, helping out on the naval side of things. So everybody on Team 2 has, or is going to have, at least one facility in Navy. Gun has been started for RNA. That's almost done. Land fight starting to kind of materialize more and more here in terms of big land fights. And gun has been started for Swadoslav as well as Gore in the north. Chicken getting more facilities online. We haven't seen T2 Navy as of yet. We've only seen really barely any facilities here for Team 2. And Team 1 starting to look very powerful in the Navy section of the map here. Like I said, in the middle of the map, those cruiser missiles from the Seraphim can reach at least to this position and really lock out a lot of stuff that can actually probably go after this T2, actually T3 air facility currently under construction for Hannibal. Team 1 doesn't have a T2 air facility online. We even see some Yenzian up here in the north taking out a couple of mexes. That's at least 10 mass per second, because that's T1 mexes now off the board here, taking out a hydrocarbon as well. That's 100 energy per second. Not really a huge concern now, but of course some energy lost is some energy, so it's better than having your opponent lose nothing. But so far nobody on Team 1 gone for T2 air, and now with T3 air online, Hannibal able to pump out more units and getting those, of course, torp bombers, and looks like he's going for Nathas first. We see mainly frigates, also some subs in the mix here for Swadoslav pushing in on this facility. And Team 2 is suffering so far. They have some air forces online, but Team 1 isn't primarily focused on air. They're focused on Navy and land, obviously because the south side is losing territory very, very quickly here. And in the north, it's kind of the opposite, where Team 1 is defending, but Team 2 is pushing. The only issue I can see here, of course, because I've illustrated it a little bit before, is the fact that Team 2 is pushing heavy on land. But if Team 1 is able to gain control of the Navy, this base is gone, this base is gone, this set of mexes is gone. Maybe we'll see some bleeding into this a little bit, but Navy is central to this map, quite literally, because it's in the middle of the map and encompasses a huge portion of it. And as we see those hover tech units getting into Gore's position, we do see that PD doing the best he can, but is only able to do so much damage per second. Of course, he's only limited by the fact that he has to recharge his cannons. There are more and more units coming online here for, looks like that's chickens and Swattleslavs to secure that northeastern side. Team 2 still has stuff in the water, but I don't think that's going to last very much longer. Looks like Salem's are going to be constructed here out of F's facility, so Team 2 does have T2 Navy. That might be the way back into the Navy for them. I don't see any upgrades as of yet for Team 1, so that's probably the only way that Team 2 can fight, at least for the time being. We do see a nice run by Team 2's F's forces on the land side of things. Breach the walls. A couple of forces are stuck. Wall sections immediately control K to allow units to pass through. But they're moving in, skipping RNA's base and going directly for Chicken to try to just delay the incoming threat from him. We do see more and more of those blazes piercing the front lines for Team 2. We do see more PD being built on the shoreline to try to shove these units away. And there goes one frigate. That other frigate will be killed off. We do see again another attack mounting in the north by Gore. And those units do reach, but they are being body blocked by those blazes. This is only Team 1 forces. There's really not a lot of firepower in this mix. The Team 1's able to fend that off quite nicely. T2 gunships coming online, being spammed up to deal with these Wagners running around the map as well. They're amphibious. They're able to hide underneath the surface of the water from any of those frigates or other style units. Subs really giving Team 2 a run for their money here. Salem is almost done, but that is a lot of subs to deal with. Team 2 needs some torp bombers online to just really assist with this. This is, 6 submarines versus 1 Salem. The Salem will most likely finish, but we are seeing some PD start to be built to deal with those blazes. The Salem destroyer is done. Torpedoes on board will slowly eat away at those subs, but it's going to take a couple of rounds to really deal with that, so we'll see if the facility stays online. We do see that Team 1 Swattleslavs has been pushed back to this section of the map, the narrowing of the land. And then the south side of things, still the raiding occurs here against RNA. He's really just been suffering this game on the land side of things. He has gun, nano, and regen on board, so he has a lot of upgrades on board, that commander. But he's still just trying to keep that front alive. And now with Team 2, with T2 Navy online, that force from Team 1 is being ripped apart very quickly. T2 not online yet as of yet for Hannibal, but of course pumping out more forces as we speak. There is a little sonar system nearby, but no torpedoes on board that thing. And there are, of course, more hovertech units. Actually, no, those aren't hovertech units. Those are sit underneath the surface of the water units for those Wagners for Swatoslav. Stealth almost done here for him in the back. He has more mexes online, or back online in the northwest. Team 1 and Team 2 producing relatively the same amount of mass. It's very kind of reclaim plus power plus all that sort of thing, kind of back and forth between the two teams. But they're staying really lockstep with one another. Team 2 barely ahead in the total mass accrued, but that's probably due to, actually it's not due to reclaim. It's just due to how the numbers work out. The Salem destroyer takes out one of the assisting facilities, and still no T2 as of yet in the Navy department. I feel like that's a big mistake for Team 1. Another destroyer almost online for F. There are, of course, more Wagners running around the map still, so Team 2 has to shore up that shoreline once again. Nano repair has been started by Gore in the north, and in the south, just, again, raiding operations. F's comm has retreated, going back to his main base. He has T2 air, going for T3 air now. His teammate, of course, Below has had T3 air for a while, and now we see T3 air online for Swatoslav, expanding on his air grid as we speak. So air not really making that much of an impact here, besides just a couple of gunships that have been built earlier on just to deal with those Wagners. But again, that's really nice to have for a naval player of Hannibal, able to produce his own torp bombers, and looks like he's actually going for a T3 strat bomber, which is very interesting. He probably should have gone for that probably a little bit sooner. Team 1 has T3 air online, and we do see some spy planes going to confirm that here shortly. Lots of interceptors flying around the map here. A couple of Beacon-class frigates get just destroyed by a couple of destroyers. There are, of course, a lot of blazes running around, which those Salems have to be cautious of. There are some frigates moving in, and, of course, the subs can't target them, but they'll assist with dealing with those incoming forces. T3 still not coming online for anybody. And now it looks like the control king of the facilities has been accomplished by Chicken. He's kind of given up on Navy, going to fall back and protect Swadoslav's facilities. This is a big win for Team 2, really securing all of their shorelines. Region War has been started by Gore in the north. We do see, again, RNA pushing out a little bit more against Team 2 on the southern side. How's that bomber being built? It is almost done. It's at 93% currently. And income a little bit more favoring Team 1 now, but again, not a huge number in terms of being in the lead one way or the other. And again, now with that comm raiding the front lines for RNA, Team 2 has to probably redouble their efforts a little bit more. Lots of Ilshis down here for RNA. 16 Ilshis. That's a decent chunk of forces. Team 2 has to be very careful those do not reach the main base. Here you see some gunships also in line for Swadoslav as well. And that bomber should be done. I don't know where it went, but it was online somewhere. He building another one? No, he's building more ASF. I don't see it anywhere. Where is it? No, the gunships are over there. I don't see the bomber. Is it already been launched at the opponent? No, I don't see 1,000 wreck anywhere. Oh, there's one. Nope, that's a grouping of wrecks. Yeah, I don't see the bomber. Let me just grab Hannibal's Ares set if I can see it. But yep, there it is. Oh, it's just sitting in the mess of all of the other stuff. So he has one. He's just not using it, which I feel like he could be using it to decent effect. There are some ASF and mainly interceptors. He could easily probably go for those T3, T2 mexers over here. But by the time he gets there, they'll already be T3, so it won't really matter. We do see that the destroyers have reached the other side of the pond. Those blazes moving in to surround those Salems. A couple of Silems just bonking those Salems. Don't really see that every day. And that frigate gets pretty much ripped to shreds by that grouping of units. T2 units still being pumped out here by F. T2 not online for anybody else for Team 2. Team 1 still just going for frigates. And that bomber has left its roost and is going somewhere. Again, I lost it again. I don't know where it went. I don't want to have to select on Hannibal again, but I don't know if he took it in. Or is it just... No, it's down here. It's just hanging out with his other bomber friends. But we do see that those Salems are now being just outnumbered quite significantly by those blazes. And one of them might not even make it into the water. That one is completely destroyed now. Great win here by Team 1's Chicken just fighting back. One Salem does make it out of there, but does get EMP'd ever so slightly. And with that, that Salem is going to just be denied. Bombers inbound more and more all the time. EMP weaponry, very annoying to deal with, of course. Those blazes have caught up, and that destroyer is dead and gone. That's a decent chunk of reclaim for Team 1 to scoop up 1,600 roughly per wreck, worth the cost in bomber construction and all of that. I don't see the bomber here for Team 2. Looks like it was shot down actually over there. Doesn't look like any damage happened. And Team 1, it looks like they actually won the air fight as well on top of that. So Team 1 barely has air control here at 21 minutes. Taking stock of the game overall, Team 1 has all their players remaining. So does Team 2. Team 1 sitting at 400 mass per second. Team 2 sitting at 440. So now they're back in the lead for mass generated more per second. And let me know down in the comments who you think is going to currently win this game. But of course, if you haven't done so already, like the video and subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate all the support I get from each and every one of you, so thank you so very much. And of course, I enjoy reading comments, responding to them, and laughing with all of you about the funny things that do happen during the cast and whatever I may say, whatever the case may be. We do see, of course, those blazes still just giving Team 2 so much headache. Of course, the EMP weaponry on board those bombers, not really great to deal with. Still no cruisers online for Team 2, just primarily going for destroyers, but faced with that many hover tech units, I don't blame them. We're going primarily for that. And this destroyer is now just going to be destroyed himself. There's nothing really much you can do with that amount of firepower from all of those blazes. And there's probably about, let's say, 24 or so, almost 24 or so in this mix. They don't do a lot of damage individually, but again, as I always say, 1,000 of anything will kill anything. Something to watch out for. In the south, RNA regenning his forces, Mantis and a Brick escaping from that commander. In the south, some gunships online. There's an interceptor having some fun with it. That T2 naval headquarters is under threat. We do see that Gore is very far forward on the front line, still not retreating. Has to be very careful with how far he pushes in. There are a lot of T3 forces nearby, primarily bricks, but there's also some bouncers as well. Lots of Zuri nearby for support, but I don't know how much that will do. Looks like those blazes have actually retreated. They probably could have actually killed off the headquarters if they wanted to, but I don't think they really wanted to go for it now. A decent group of T1 fleet here for Swadoslav pushing in to assist. Nobody on Team 2 has gone for T2 Navy as of yet besides F, and Team 1 hasn't even entertained the thought as well. Very interesting to not see that upgrade even be started by anybody. All the build power, all those engineers are gone. There's a couple of destroyers, but the frigates, there's so many to deal with. It makes it difficult to really just hone in on one or two good targets. They're constantly moving over there. T3, of course, air grid being not as much expanded upon as I thought from F, but it is being expanded on by Hannibal. That's probably why he hasn't gone for the naval facility, and now it's actually gone. Gunships being ripped apart by some interceptors, and now he's sending his own ASFs to protect them. We see some ASFs also assisting for F as well. F trying to play double duty here with the naval side of things and the air side of things and the land side of things. He's playing every possible angle, unless you count the artillery angle, which won't really occur for at least a while if it does occur. Gore's still on the front line. He has Region or Nano and gun on board, and he's just sitting there taking pod shots. Bricks are just more than happy to deal with it. And Gore drops into the yellow. Overcharge comes in, takes out one of the bricks, and now most of the bricks are now in range. Now Gore's losing hit points very, very quickly here. He drops into the red, sub 4,000 hit points. He has to be very careful here. He's almost close to a rank in veterancy, but he does, I think, get one with one of those overcharges. His Othams push in, though. That's definitely a dangerous strategy, using his comm as bum bait to be able to distract his opponents, but I guess at a very risky place. Swadoslav with his nano and gun comm moving in to intercept and push back those forces from Gore. He's repping up at 108. Swadoslav is at 78. We do see some shields going to be built to protect that emplacement. He's just kind of fire base creeping so far. Here's a nice production facility here, another base here. So he has stuff to fall back to, but definitely just sitting his comm there. I probably was by accident. Definitely doubt if it was on purpose. It could have been, but I highly doubt it that it was on purpose. We even see Chicken coming into the south as well, assisting his teammate of RNA. He's going for advanced regen ore, still has the regular nano online. And the game has kind of quieted down once again. There's a huge amount of hover spam online for Chicken, and T2 Navy finally online for Swadoslav after a long time of just having T1s. We do see that, of course, more Salems are being produced, but it looks like Team 1 Swadoslav is actually going to start outproducing his opponent of F. In the naval department, Team 2 is still winning the mass game at 680, 670 per second. But I don't know if that's going to last very much longer. If the naval side of things collapses, there's so many units online. Team 2 needs a lot more PD, especially on the shoreline. But that naval facility is going down. T3 Navy online, are coming online, and that's probably not soon enough. There are some gunships trying to assist. I don't see a lot of AA nearby, or any ASF for that matter. There is some AA back there, but some interceptors and some ASFs are called in from Chicken. Looks like donated by Swadoslav. We do see some bricks moving in to assist as well. Those gunships are ripped apart. Team 2, where is your air? I don't see it. It's over here in Team 1. It's a murder-suicide situation here. Swadoslav and Gore traded with one another. It looks like it was a just attempt to go after Swadoslav, and with the explosion of Swadoslav kills off Gore, we see some bricks nearby, and some Othams did move in and assist, but that is a huge win here for both teams, because that's a kill on one side and the other side, dropping this game from a 3v3 to a 2v2. Nobody in favor, because both teams lost a player in that engagement. Team 2 still in the lead for mass generation quite considerably, now at over 150 mass per second. Of course, the Salem's now facing down a huge shield plus blaze plus a couple of AA unit wall here. And of course the torpedoes on board the Salems don't do anything against hover units. There is more gunships coming in. T3 Navy almost online. That'll bump up the hit point count quite considerably for the naval facility, but I don't know if it's gonna make it. I just wanted to play video games and chill, not get destroyed essentially. Well, I mean, it happens. It happens that sometimes, you know, the game doesn't go the way that you want it to, and that's just how it works. We do see most of these forces are not being just ripped apart. These Salems using the facility to block some of the incoming shots. We do see the flak is ripping apart the gunships though quite nicely, and now most of the blazes are dealt with. If only the flak remains, T3 Navy will stay alive. There are some bricks now going to move in and go after more mexes here for Hannibal. But again, Team 1 has now lost Team 2 has lost the northeastern corner, and now I think a lot of these Authams are just going to put themselves in the water and hang out. After play like that, I had barely any mass in that spot. There's just conversation between Gore and Swadoslav. So Gore really wanted to kill Swadoslav, and he did. He accomplished his goal because he even said earlier on, I won my lane. So, yeah, won my lane. Yeah, that's what he said. But you have teammates that can handle that. But anyway, there's just conversations back and forth. Of course, everybody can read this because it's mainly in all chat, not in just Teams chat. We do see, of course, some spy planes flying around. There, again, not really a lot of action in the south. Couple of bricks over here kind of deny a couple of facilities here for Chicken, but Chicken's already moved into the water once again. We do see there are some more Salems online for now Chicken's forces now that he's on dual base. And Team 2's eco is still sitting at about 150, 170 mass more than Team 1's, and there are some PD being built to deter any sort of land crawling dwellers from Team 1. And now a battleship is being spammed up very quickly here. With that, long-range artillery is online in the Navy side of things, and that T2 naval headquarters is probably the main target of that Galaxy-class battleship. I would love to see some Seraphim cruisers use their missiles, but have not seen T2 Seraphim tech as of yet. Maybe we won't. It's almost 30 minutes. Maybe we will. Just depends on what Hannibal decides to do over here. We do see he's continuing to push out engineers for reclaim. So does Chicken. And once that finishes up, it's just going to be T3 unit spam over there to the north. Finish if you have power, says Gore. Build it, Sam's topside with the E. Just trying to help out his team as much as possible. Love to see it in these games, of course, especially with only having 3 to 4 players in ladder matches. You need all the help you can get, regardless if it's beyond the grave or not, just to try to take off the mental load. With 6 players, it's easy, like, okay, you're air, you're navy, you're ground, you're kind of like a eco kind of thing. Like, it's really easy to divvy up tasks, but in ladder, essentially, you not necessarily have to do all of the stuff, but you have to do a larger portion of it. But the battleship is online. Chicken builds an experimental, though. He is Aeon, but he also has access to Cybran tech, so maybe Monkey. And yes, it is Monkey is online, and that will force back Team 2's forces over here to the east. At least a little bit, and giving Team 2 a little bit more pause with that. But now that the battleship is online, it's going to be the slow march of death here for Team 1. We do see that some Authams counteracting these bricks in the south, and the bricks going after the mexes. 2 of the 3 of them have been destroyed, so that's 9 mass a second per mex that Team 1's RNA has lost. That's 18 mass a second. And now we see that there are now some cruisers online for the first time in the game for Team 2. That cruiser is about to go offline. Now pushed way too far forward and got destroyed for it. But there's just, again, it would be very difficult for Team 2 to just full bore, full charge into this group of units. There are some Nothas possibly going after that T2 naval headquarters, but there's not so much AA. Not Nothas, those are Corsairs, excuse me. They have the same signature as Nothas, though. And there is a couple of AA emplacements nearby. Going after that, actually, no, going after the build power, denying the ability for Team 1 to pump out some units. I feel like Team 2 has the ability to just knock out that naval headquarters if they decided to, but they're just not pulling the trigger on it. Monkey in the north has now reached the main line for Team 2. The Hannibal's forces are in full retreat. Probably going to fall back to this position and try to shore up. Maybe even go as far back as maybe here. But they need to make a stand somewhere. Just ceding territory all the time, especially with RNA in the south pushing in against F, in which he hasn't really done a whole lot down here for a while. He has a couple of gunships online, though, and more bricks being output as we speak. But he is getting an air grid online. Same thing with Hambelo. Both of these players have a decent air grid going for them. We do see a smaller set of air grids here for Chicken now, and RNA doesn't have any air facilities, but maybe will dip his toes in air just because he might need to assist in that realm, because with this many ASFs online for Team 2, it could just be a steamroll of air plus some battleships. We do see a second one is now online. Third one is now under construction. More counterintelligence both to distract or deter any sort of intel gathering operations for Team 1. You can see this is what they can see. Absolutely nothing. We even see the Salems have decided to get onto land to assist with defense down here. And we've seen a lot of just Salems being used on land lately. I feel like out of the last 3 or 4 casts, there's been at least 2 of them that have showcased that. At least 2 that I can think of. One of them, of course, being the 400 special. That there's literally the thumbnail is that. We do see there's now a decent amount of a decent amount of firepower going onto the battleship, but of course it is pretty tanky, being at 44,000 hit points. The destroyer is doing most of that damage. Team 2 needs to get those destroyers online. Back over here, they've decided to deter this incoming land force, but it's going to really harm all these battleships. There's a couple of cruisers online, but there's so much support. It looks like Team 1's just trying to keep 2 in their corner, but Team 2 really doesn't want to sit in the corner and hang out. Looks like the monkey has decided to just kind of do the damage he wants and fall back, not really risk it. Another monkey online. There's a Colossus almost done for Chicken. Chicken for RNA. That's never confusing. We do see RNA pushing in against those destroyers. Bricks moving in to intercept, but there's also some Othams over here with some actually, those are Harbingers support. RNA, again, repping up 264 hit points a second, so destroyers need a lot more firepower than that. I thought I heard an explosion, but I guess not. And those destroyers are not going to go anywhere, because those units are going to keep them in place permanently. And this is definitely unfortunate here for Team 2. Of course, this is a nice distraction from Team 1's land engagement, but all it's going to do is deny Navy that Team 2 easily has, because now there's a third battleship, but they don't have any more firepower in the destroyer realm because they're all destroyed now. And of course, some bricks are able to avenge their fallen Salem brethren, but not by much. He needs more defenses over here on that western side of his front line. We do see that 2 monkeys pushing in against the Chicken, which, I mean, given the fact that this monkey is severely damaged, I think the Chicken wins the fight. I feel like if the Chicken can get close to the other monkey after its death, then that's a nice situation for Team 2, but if it can't, then Team 1 will win that fight quite handily. But Chicken is staying at range, though. There are some Othans taking a lot of shots for the Chicken. Shields trying to stay online to keep that Chicken afloat. 1 monkey about to get destroyed. 2nd monkey about to also get ripped to shreds, and with that, that Chicken will get some veterancy. Is up to 1 star, a couple of PD. Also going to support it. Needs to target all the bricks, though, not the other smaller units. We do see that those bricks are still alive. There's a couple more coming into range. Chicken, 13,000 hit points and falling. And it looks like now it's going after the rest of those bricks. Airfight does occur. Team 1 loses that quite handedly. And these battleships are pushing in the pond. There is a Colossus underneath the surface. But of course, I think there's some torpedoes on board some of these. Yeah, there's a couple of torpedoes on board these Galaxy-class battleships. But in the south, I mean, Team 1 has gained a ton of ground. Same thing in the north, but now with the Chicken online and both of those monkey wrecks just right there for Team 2 to scoop up, that is very easily a decent chunk of mass to funnel into either another Chicken, which he's already built, or some other projects, which he's also building another Chicken. So many Chickens here for Team 2. So many Chickens. Looks like the column of RNA still pushing in. The naval fight does occur, but there's so many battleships, so much cruiser support. AA is, or any sort of ASF, anything. Not broadswords. Broadswords, I guess we're not in this game because there's no UEF, but whalers are going to be ripped out of the skies. Of course, the torp bombers might get some damage done, but you can see just how fast the whalers are being dealt with by those cruisers. Cruisers just don't have a chance. They are targeting the cruisers, or at least all the units are, but again, there's so much firepower and hit points on board those battleships. A fourth one makes its appearance. One of them might get killed off by just all of the damage coming down from Team 1, but it will be close, to be fair. You can see all these battleships just one-tapping all these units for the most part. There are some sub-killers nearby going after that Colossus that he definitely saw on the water. Another experimental online. It is a chicken. Team 2's chicken is done. Team 2's other chicken is, of course, done. Another chicken. Nope, not as of yet. Air grid getting pinged. This battleship about to die. Another of those cruisers comes offline. This is where having those battleships would be very nice. The AA, or the accuracy on board those cruisers, definitely leaves something to be desired. But this battleship, less than 1,000 hit points remaining, might actually survive. One torp bomber will probably be enough to deal with that. Oh, there are some more units inbound, but that is rough. This one survives just barely. And that Colossus is being pinpointed by those Barracudas. Of course, there are some torp defenses on board, some nearby bricks. But Team 2 definitely knows it's there. ASF moving in to shadow it. Chicken right there. Could probably easy fall back. There are some T2 torp bombers inbound. That's going to hurt a lot for that Colossus. That Colossus has a little bit ways to go before he's out of danger from all those torps. And there go the hit points very, very quickly here. Drops into the yellow. The chicken is now out of the water, about ready to intercept the Colossus. The Colossus at this point now just needs to go after the air grid. It has no chance of doing anything else. Another wave inbound, able to target it a little bit more because it's still technically in the water. And that chicken is going to do a lot of damage to that Colossus. Colossus is going to just ignore it entirely. Now just going to give it a hug. Colossus turns around, but it can't go back in the water because the torp bombers will kill it. But it can't stay out of the water because the chicken will kill it. And now that Colossus that walked all the way over from the other side of the map is dead and in the water for Team 2 to scoop up. There is one lonely brick that makes it past the chicken, but not for long. In the north, another monkey goes down to dual chicken support. This chicken, who is on 7,000 health, back up to 17,000. And now on 2 veteran C torp bombers assisting, taking out the rest of these naval facilities. The water has been claimed by Team 2. And in the south, RNA pushes him with a chicken. This is Team 1's hope for any sort of land engagement down here. Start washer, says Gore. And he has all the build power for it. So Nuke is outbound, though, from Team 1. And it's going for the air grid over here. Does Team 2 have that SMD loaded? It is not. This will be a huge win for the air side of things for Team 1. Oh, that's going to hurt. That is going to hurt. There it goes, sailing across the map. We'll look at the ranges for those battleships here after that nuke lands. But this will definitely at least slow down Team 2's air expansionary efforts. Team 1 at 1.3k mass income. Team 2 at 1.1. We're trying to win it back in that regard. There it goes. Ka-ba-ba, boom. Kicks most of that air grid to the curb. Could have gone a little bit further over and killed everything off. But, most of it is better than nothing. The nuke does kill off 62,000 mass worth of structures and units and stuff. F's artillery for that battleship. I mean, it's not able to target the main base, but it's able to target a lot of other mexes, so it kind of will slowly eat away at the eco. There are a couple of bricks roaming around here to the north. PD has been hastily built to deal with those, and bricks trying to avoid them. Of course, they're building an Awasa bomber as we speak. But the only issue for Team 1, though, is that, yeah, they took out an air grid, but there's still another one here for F. So there's 2 air grids. And that's the only downside with having 2 air players to deal with is, yeah, you can take out one of them, but the other one still has air. We do see a crab online for F as well, pushing back the chicken. Actually, there's 2 chickens down here. And RNA is just constantly regenning said chicken. I love that there's just a naval facility pumping out engineers. Could have just built a land facility at that point. It made it a lot easier, but why not? It's only going to be building engineers, so what does it matter one way or the other? There are some bricks, not bricks, there are no bricks remaining here for that crab. 2 chickens moving in, and there's nothing supporting this. If the crab will finish, But if the chickens just do a suicide mission, that section of the map, that air grid is gone. And I think that's, I mean, definitely worth it for Hannibal. He has air control, or at least Team 2 does in general, and they're going for a bomber. At least they were, so they got distracted from those from those bricks. Some Corsairs inbound, just kind of roaming the map, dealing with frontline facilities. Team 1's RNA pumped out a ton of land spam facilities. Probably going for Zooies, I would assume. Yep, building Zooies and some air scouts to constantly scout the other side of the map. I love that, but I don't know if it'll be that worth it. Chickens are inbound, and yes, they are avoiding the crab for the most part. Monkey very much hastily built, and it will do a great number, but I don't know if it'll save as much as it was probably hoping for. The chicken will die, at least that one will die first, pretty close to that monkey. The second chicken going after the pigeons, getting a nice little AoE on the monkey right there. The Ion Storm activating, going after that monkey's HP. The monkey is going to go down. The crab goes down. There's still one chicken remaining. And of course, now there's a second Ion Storm for Team 1 to deal with. Lots of engineers going up in smoke. And that air grid is going down as well. Oh, go back. You got to take out the air grid. Go back. Go back. Silence. I'm coaching Hannibal the Crusher. Swan of Sub's like, hey, I was talking to you, and Gore's like, shush, I'm doing stuff. Gore's doing a very good job on the northern side, though, I will admit, but I kind of see the writing on the wall, especially on the northern side of things. The air grid cut in half, the chicken on the way, it's turning around. But the Navy, opened the doors a decent amount for the land to come in. RNA still pushing in on the southern side, but coming up against fierce resistance. That nuke, I mean, it needs to fire at least one more missile. It is loaded. This SMD is just barely loaded, so I think it had enough time to take out the other air grid. But of course, I feel like had the nuke launched when it was loaded, it might have been able to take out that. But yeah, because that one's not loaded as well. The comm of RNA still not giving up. Bricks actually pinpointed the commander, and that comm of RNA might go down to all of the brick support. So much damage, 12,000 hit points and falling. 5,000, 4,000, that might be a kill. 2,000, 1,000, there he goes. RNA has been defeated. There was also some wailers coming to secure the kill. And now it is Chicken versus the entirety of Team 2. Colossus moving in, kills off all of some of the Salems over here to the south. The real way to play Sarah, says Gore. Yep, that is one of the best ways to play Seraphim, is just build the Nano and Regen Advanced Commander with a gun and just send it. But with that, with the front on the southern side essentially been stalled out, there's really nothing, really nothing going for Team 1 in any sort of area. We do see the Colossus in range of a battleship, but it's being bombarded by all that, just artillery fire. Looks like that's just the cruiser in the middle of that battleship. But there goes the Colossus. It is down, almost killed off the battleship, but it got a Ray Convention from the kills. Almost killed it off, but just barely did not. Nuke still loaded, but with that, I mean, don't know what else Team 1 has in reserve. They can't have any sort of meaningful attack on the south as of yet, but being bombarded on the naval side of things. If the battleships do shift south, I feel like that base it would barely be out of range, but it would be annoying at a minimum. Chicken going after that Colossus. Of course, Colossus trying to stop it. Second Colossus that will stop that Chicken. Of course, the nuke is the main threat for Team 2, but there's SMD coverage there. That's really the main things. The bomber is stopped again, but it was started once again. ASF sitting on Team 1 side of the map. Tons of mechs is taken offline. Another group of destroyers going after any sort of reinforcements for Team 1's Chicken. And 45 minutes on the clock here. Not really going well. Most of those land spam facilities have been dealt with. And of course, reclaiming efforts have started. In terms of reclaim numbers overall, Team 2 173K. Team 1 131. Nuke is outbound. And what is it going for? It's going for this. It's going to nuke the bomber. All the engineers flee. They scurry away. But again, had it gone after the air grid, not necessarily the game would be a different story, but things would definitely have been slowed quite considerably. There is an SMD, another one built, so a backup one. But I think I see the writing on the wall here. I'll speed it up to just the +1. And that nuke is going to land. Of course, there's no SMD over here. It's going to land a little bit more to the east than I would like it to see. Kaboom! Takes out, I think, a little bit of hit points on that thing being built. But T3 mech still alive. All of this is gone. Engineers go, okay, we're just going to finish the bomber and call it a day there. And Colossus going to try to stand in the face of all of these dead boats on the water side. Jeez. Chicken coming in to assist as well. But there's just now more and more battleships coming into range. There's now 6 of them online. And like I said, it's the beginning of the end for Team 1 in general. We do see that the bricks coming in, going after the T3 mech's position that Team 2 originally owned a while back, but Team 1 claimed it from them, and claiming their ancestral homeland at that point. But yeah, it's just Team 1's backed into a corner. Nuke is almost loaded once again. Killed off 95,000 mass, so 2 nukes. That's an average of at least 46, 47. So I'd say both those definitely worth it. But I feel like the nuke for this one could have been pushed a little bit further over. And this one, I mean, I know it was trying to do the bomber and all the mexes, but it did take out 4 of the 5. So that is, you know, definitely an 80%. That's a B. That's definitely a good percentage to have on a test, that's for sure. T3 strat bombers are inbound, going after that Colossus. And with that, I mean, like I said, there's really nothing that Team 1 has left in their reserves. What's probably going to happen is he's probably going to load another nuke, fire it, and then probably call it there. Because the southern front is collapsing. The northern front's gone. Gore isn't even pushing in. Sorry, not Gore. Hannibal isn't even pushing in on the northern side of things with his land. He's just using his strat bombers to deal the damage, going after some mexes up there. And yeah, this fight probably would have been over at least a couple minutes ago had he just gone for the land engagement. But I think he wants to build the bomber first and then send him in. So I don't blame him. The bomber's always a fun unit to use. There are some more strat bombers still throwing their bombs at their opponents. More mechs is coming offline. Team 1, oh, sorry, I didn't change that back over. Team 1 sitting at 300 mass income. Team 2 almost at 1,000. And those kind of numbers, it's, I mean, that's deadly. Absolutely deadly. 48 minutes on the clock here. I'm going to speed it back up to +2. The nuke is loaded. Will he fire it before the game ends? He does fire it. Where is it going? Go for the... I was going to say go for the battleships, but no, he's going to go for the bomber. Will the bomber make it? The bomber will make it. Oh, that was pretty close. That nuke sailing across the map. Engineers moving out of there. And let's watch the beautiful explosion of the Aeon, but it's not really going to kill anything. Kaboom. All those engineers were safe. Lol, says Hannibal. Yep, going after that bomber. And then I'm assuming the comm will either be destroyed by these strat bombers that are inbound or the bomber that's inbound, one or the other. And so this then, are you gonna next? And there it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There goes the bomb. Looks like it already took some damage from nearby AA. And there it goes. Killed off by an Albasaw bomber. 49 minutes. Team 2 wins the game with 2 of their players remaining. MVPs for this game, I mean, Hannibal did a very good job. I feel like that was the straw that essentially broke the camel's back. The northern side completely collapsed. No way to recover from that. Obviously, there was an attempt for RNA to push in, but he died. I feel like if he didn't die, I don't know if the attack would still be going, but it would have been, you know, it would have lasted longer for sure. And then I feel like had the nuke launched, so the second nuke that Chicken built, had he launched it when he had it, it probably would have taken out the air grid. Looks like Scathos was started, and actually half done already. It probably would have taken out a chunk of the air grid, if not most of it, had it been just focused on that. And then maybe Team 1 would have a little bit more of some like respite, nice little time to kind of recuperate. But I think, like I said, once the northern side collapsed, that was the beginning of the end. And that was primarily driven by, obviously, Gore killing off Swadoslav and himself, and then Hannibal taking over and finishing the job. So I think he gets MVP for this game. Let me know down in the comments who you think deserves MVP. And of course, if you haven't done so already, like the video and subscribe to the channel. And of course, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see all of you in the next one.